So, Zemo, last time we left off, we had arrived here at this beautiful spot.
It's weird we're at the exact same place.
That's probably because we're filming the next episode directly after the one before.
Well said. Mean dogs are still here too.
Correct. Anyway, we get a lot of requests to talk about ghost cities. I know it's kind of a popular topic overseas, Chinese ghost cities, but I was wondering, how can we actually discuss the topic properly?
Well, first off, we can't do it here, that's for sure, right?
Right.
But I actually do know of a ghost town near our motorcycle shop, actually.
Okay.
Where they, about 3 years ago, started building a ton of private villas for people, right? A little golf course and everything over there. And I haven't seen anyone move in there yet.
Okay, that sounds like something we should go check out. So how about we go check it out? We can talk about the whole ghost city thing along the way.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, Seamilk, so probably the most famous sort of ghost city is that that one up in Inner Mongolia, Ordos. We've both been there, but you used to live up there, so you probably know a lot more about it. Maybe you can tell everybody what that's all about.
Sure. Now, I think still Ordos is actually the richest city per capita in China, and it's because of rare earth minerals, right?
Yeah, like coal deposits, things like that.
Right, so what it means is you actually get a ton of people up there that, you know, are not well educated but have a ton of money. And I think it's in a lot of men's drive to continue, you know, building your empire, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these people that had land and rare earth minerals, what they did was sell them to the government to basically dig that up.
Yeah.
And they made so much money that they wanted to continue doing business, so they're opening things like massive property developments because that's where all the money was, right? And in a little part of Ordos, actually in Dongsheng district, it's called Kangbashi, and on Western news media they call it Kangbashi or something ridiculous. Learn how to say it if you're going to do it.
Correct.
Okay, it doesn't take too much effort to learn a Chinese word. Anyway, what happened was they ended up building an entire city that was super swanky, right? And in a very arid region, we're running water 24/7 to have beautiful lawns kind of like this, right?
Okay, yeah.
Everywhere, and golf courses and unbelievable libraries and this and that. And I'll tell you what, when I went there, it was staggering what they managed to pull off in such a short time. However, what it led to was the famous story that you read in the West a few years ago, and it's still been pretty popular up until today.
Yeah.
Is that it's a ghost city, meaning that there was, I think, maybe 10 or 20,000 people in a city with a capacity of 500,000, right?
Correct.
And it's weird because it's not just empty apartment blocks like we find here, it's empty shops with people working there, it's empty banks, it's empty everything, an entire infrastructure that is completely unused.
Yeah.
And I kind of like took the media by storm because you had these 8-lane roads with no cars on them, and it was just kind of creepy to everyone that China would build such a massive city with absolutely no one in it. Now, to finish off the introduction here, I'll say that after all this time, and after I moved here, Kangbashi, or Kangbashi, as you want to call it,
Tangbashi,
is actually almost all full. And it's a success story, and it's not a ghost city anymore. But it leads to today's topic. And what's that?
Well, you know, it may not be a ghost city anymore, but it's certainly spurned off a whole bunch of other ghost cities, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a lot about the Chinese economy, but look, it's going to take us a while to get to where we're going, so I'm going to basically fast forward and we'll continue this conversation when we get a little closer to our destination.
Sounds good.
And we're back. We are not at the ghost town yet, but if you look up to the left here, you will be able to see a bunch of new housing projects going up right now. Even though all the housing behind them still isn't full yet.
Right.
In fact, that's something I wanted to talk about. I found out last week that even if there was full-scale urbanization in Shenzhen, you know, the city I live in?
Yeah.
If there was full-scale urbanization right now, it would take 3 to 5 years to fill up the current like excess real estate inventory that's there, you know, all the empty houses. And that's without building anything else. And they are constantly, every day, building new stuff. So, you know, the supply is way more than the demand. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and that's taking into account like a place with a big population where people struggle to find housing.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about these small towns like here that are just like literally 60% of the property is not even filled.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, we are currently on our way. You can actually see over there the big Olympic Stadium.
Yep.
Of Huizhou, which doesn't look like it gets used very much.
Yeah, they had a concert there the other day.
Okay, cool.
And it's used for the Asia Olympics for some of the events.
Yeah, but for most of the time it looks like it's just disused. I never see cars there or anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone in there right now.
Nah, probably not. But yeah, that's just another thing. You see all these big projects going up everywhere, all this real estate.
That's a good point.
You know, and it's very seldom used. Anyway, we are quite close, aren't we? You know the way. How about you go ahead and lead us to our destination?
Sure. So yeah, like a little preface here. Actually, my friend was riding his motorcycle about 3 years ago outside of this place. And he was just peeking around because like there's all these epic signs and it looked like they were building a little golf course there and stuff. He's peeking around, right?
Yeah.
And he parks his motorcycle because he sees that people are walking around checking out the houses. And actually we can see some of these up here, okay? These are the apartment blocks, not the villas.
Right.
But these were being built about 3 years ago and advertised all over the city. I saw that this plot here is being advertised everywhere. It's very inconvenient because it's way outside the city. There's nothing around here. There's no shops or anything like that, right? So I think nobody really moved in, to be honest. If you look at it, this is where we're going. People kind of were interested in the low housing cost, the price there to buy it, but no one actually ended up buying it. So my friend walked around there, and because he was a foreigner and I think they thought he wanted to buy a house, they actually handed him a glass of champagne.
Oh, nice.
Which I thought was really, really funny. They're doing everything, pulling out all the stops to try to get the rich people here.
Okay.
But yeah, I have not been inside it, so I figured we go check it out.
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah,
What's it called?
It's called Triumph.
Okay.
Triumph. The triumph in wasted money.
It is a triumph in wasted money. Hey, we actually came here a while ago, and we looked at those funny shops.
Yeah, we didn't look at the houses.
No, we looked at all the fake shops. Remember, like the fake Rolex shops?
I do remember that, actually.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, like none of these are legitimate shops. Anyway, keep talking about this issue.
Yeah, well, the issue is that we've got this situation now where the entire economy in China is based off real estate.
Right.
Okay, that's what it's boiled down to now. The average person, like the average Chinese person, the only option they have to invest is to buy property and speculate, basically, because there's such a demand for property that the price keeps going up and up and up, and they can sell it in a couple of years and make huge profits, sometimes even 100% profit on what they pay, right?
Sure.
So this has led to this very greedy sort of speculation, cash grab thing where people are like loaning money from illegal sources like shadow banks or just from banks to buy more property. So they have tons of property and no one's living in them, and they're just basically waiting for the prices to go up so they can sell them to get more money.
Yeah.
And there's a huge problem that government's been trying to cool this down for ages, right? They've actually been implementing all sorts of things like, oh, married couples are only allowed to own one property or two properties. So then people are actually getting divorced, still living together, still being husband and wife, but on paper getting divorced so that they can buy more property, you know, things like that.
Right.
So
this is an example of a ghost town. This is a more populated ghost town. There's a lot of people that are here just to see this, which is interesting. There's like a little museum that says the rich upper life experience.
But if you look, the apartments that are actually, they have clothes hanging in the windows or curtains, there's like 3 in that entire building.
It's very sparse. You see empty, 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 empty. And the funny thing is you say, yeah, it's a new development. No, this is over 3 years old now. 3 years old. And they're still building.
There's a thing though here in China that if you buy a property, if you do any like decoration or renovation, if you buy a concrete block, it literally has nothing inside, no walls.
You can
or
see
anything,
in the windows,
right?
there's nothing in there.
Yeah, well, we'll try to get a close-up. If you do any kind of construction in there, it actually lowers the value of the property.
Yep.
But if you keep it bare bones, like completely stock empty, it's worth more when you sell it.
Yeah, they call it zhuangxiu, which means like decoration. And if you do your own decoration, then the other people that move in are going to change it, which is going to cost them.
All of these are completely empty.
Yeah.
We'll stop and get some footage on the way back. We'll just go to the end here.
And again, I got to keep saying this, but these are 3 years old. This is not a new building. This wasn't made yet last month.
Yeah, exactly. And then behind, you can see they're currently building new ones.
There's new ones. And then I also want to say this, right behind this, there's like incredibly poor, like impoverished houses. Like they have a well for water, that kind of stuff, you know.
Sure.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but this is what's happened in China, is you've got this huge real estate boom because that's what's driving the economy. And the local government makes money by selling this land to the real estate developers, right?
Yeah.
Who will pay a hell of a lot of money, and then they will just sell all these properties and, you know, earn tons of money and they'll go ahead and build more stuff, you know, so.
And we got another great example here of something I gotta show.
Okay.
If we can get, oh man, the air is awful out here. Pollution's terrible.
Yeah.
Can you see these?
Yeah, I can. Oh,
these
yes.
are farmhouses, and what I mean by that is they're for farmers, right? But
let's go down and take a closer look.
Okay.
Yeah.
These will not be used. Let me talk about this for a second. Why? Why won't these be used? Well, if you look, you gotta wonder, if you look at this massive ghost town that we just went through.
Yeah, I'll take some footage here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did they get all this open land to do so? There was certainly stuff here before. This was not an empty lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And what happens is, places like this, right, were probably previously farmhouses and things like that. So why are they building new farmhouses here, right? Well, because the people, the farmers that own the land here, get the cheapest building materials, and they'll make these pop up basically out of nowhere. A month or two takes to build some of these.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Why? Because the government or property developers have to pay them a government set compensation
per floor.
Per floor.
So
they're put all the scaffolding up, and they're trying to make these as big as possible before they get the mandatory boot, right? Get out of here, this is our area, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And they just rake in the money and move it downtown the city. You have this bizarre thing.
Look at this situation. You've got, this is a new one being built, then you've got all those ones that have been around for 3 years. Right behind them you've got all these other ones busy being built.
And blow your mind, the entire cityscape is a ghost town.
Yeah, all the way back there.
Nobody lives here.
And then obviously the next thing is where we're standing right now, and over there will be the next bit of land that they're going to appropriate for building more, right?
And the entrepreneurial farmers of their little temple are going to get quite the payload.
Yeah, they certainly will. And that's exactly what's happening here. And, well, you know, they say that this is the biggest housing bubble in the whole world.
We're standing in it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of speculation as to when it's going to burst. A lot of people are worried about it. But I'm sure you've noticed, Chinese people seem to think that it's a sure thing.
Yes.
It's not going to go down.
No.
So they keep, like, I keep trying to tell my friends and, you know, people that I care about here, chill out a little bit. Like, I'm not saying don't invest, but stop, like, borrowing so much money and stop trying to buy so much property. Like, just chill the hell out, you know, get your own house, you know, like live in it, whatever. I think it's a good investment, but this can't last forever.
There's a problem when right now we're literally, I'm just going to throw this out there. Let's say, how many people are in that building? If you could fill it up, how many families or how many people?
In that building?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's got what, like 30 stories and probably about 6 apartments per story.
So let's just say what, like, I don't know, 1,000 people?
Yeah.
If we're looking right now at potentially 500,000 to 1 million capacity property right now that has not been filled for 5 years, then there's obviously an issue.
Sure.
That's bad.
Totally. And look in the distance there, you'll see there's tons of other ones under construction. You see the sky cranes everywhere.
And there's no one inside.
Up and up and up, no one inside. And yeah, literally there's just too much supply, you know. However, there still seems to be demand.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think
we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up over here, shall we?
Sure.
Now, guys, Seamilk and I were talking about this, and we were thinking, how could we be positive about this? Like this whole housing boom thing, that this bubble, because at least in our opinion, we're not trying to be naysayers, but it can't go on forever. It's going to have to slow down. It's going to have to come down. What's positive about it?
I'll say this. If China goes through an economic disaster and everyone's starving and kind of running around and clamoring for places to live, there is absolutely no shortage of housing, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, there will always be housing in China. So there's enough apartments just in this area that we're standing around here to like house everybody in like 5 cities surrounding here. So
in fact, if you're homeless and can afford a plane ticket, come here. You can live in one of these empty boxes. You probably won't get caught. For a while.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. Anything you want to say to our subscribers before we sign off?
Well, whether you're a ghost or live in a ghost town or even a haunted house, I appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, and until next time, guys, we'd like you to stay awesome, but you see, we just don't have the drone to do a fancy shoot-off from here, so I think we're just going to have to put some epic random drone from what we filmed last week.
Sounds good.
Alright, so until next time, guys, please enjoy this epic random drone footage, and as always, stay awesome.
When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind works backwards just for a minute, I hold on.
is that that one up in Inner Mongolia, Ordos. We've both been there, but you used to live up there, so you probably know a lot more about it. Maybe you can tell everybody what that's all about.
Sure. Now, I think still Ordos is actually the richest city per capita in China, and it's because of rare earth minerals, right?
Yeah, like coal deposits, things like that.
Right. So what it means is you actually get a ton of people up there that, you know, are not well educated but have a ton of money. And I think it's in a lot of men's drive to continue, you know, building your empire, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these people that had land and rare earth minerals, what they did was 24/7 to have beautiful lawns kind of like this, right?
Okay, yeah.
Everywhere, and golf courses and unbelievable libraries and this and that. And I'll tell you what, when I went there, it was staggering what they managed to pull off in such a short time. However, what it led to was the famous story that you read in the West a few years ago, and it's still been pretty popular up until today.
Yeah.
Is that it's a ghost city, meaning that there was, I think, maybe 10 or 20,000 people in a city with a capacity of 500,000, right?
Correct.
And it's weird because it's not just empty apartment blocks like we find here. It's sell them to the government to basically dig that up.
Yeah.
And they made so much money that they wanted to continue doing business, so they're opening things like massive property developments because that's where all the money was, right? And in a little part of Ordos, actually in Dongsheng district, it's called Kangbashi. And on the Western news media, they call it Kangbashi or something ridiculous.
Okay.
Learn how to say it if you're going to do it.
Correct.
Okay, it doesn't take too much effort to learn a Chinese word. Anyway, what happened was they ended up building an entire city that was super, super swanky, right? And in a very arid region, we're running water.
Topic overseas, Chinese ghost cities. But I was wondering, how can we actually discuss the topic properly?
Well, first off, we can't do it here, that's for sure, right?
Right.
But I actually do know of a ghost town near our motorcycle shop, actually.
Okay.
Where they, about 3 years ago, started building a ton of private villas for people, right? Little golf course and everything over there. And I haven't seen anyone move in there yet. Okay,
that sounds like something we should go check out. So how about we go check it out? We can talk about the whole ghost city thing along the way.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, Sea Milk, so probably the most famous sort of ghost city. So, Sea Milk, last time we left off, we had arrived here at this beautiful spot.
It's weird, we're at the exact same place.
That's probably because we're filming the next episode directly after the one before.
Well said. Mean dogs are still here too.
Correct. Anyway, we get a lot of requests to talk about ghost cities. I know it's kind of a popular